If you would all pause with me for a brief moment of reflection. Okay, thank you. And tonight for our Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Thompson, would you like to introduce our leaders for tonight?
Tonight our showcase school is Erskine Elementary. So Mr. Merkel.
Stand up.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we now call this meeting to order. All members of the board are present with the exception of Mr. McGee. For the approval of the agenda, Mr. Thompson.
We'd just like you to approve the agenda as presented. Please note that there are a couple priority school status updates that have been exempted from this meeting.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Motion by Mr. Long. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Stewart. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? That motion carries. Next, Mr. Thompson, the approval of minutes.
I would just ask that you approve the November 11th and December 2nd special public hearing as presented in your packets.
Is there a motion to approve? A motion by Mrs. Shady and a second by Mr. Long. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? The minutes are approved. Superintendent comments. Mr. Thompson.
Well, let's start out with a very positive one because we have a very good partner here in this community. And so I would like to have Kristen Knight Wilkerson and Missy Morris come up to the podium, please. These young ladies are very good partners with our school for numbers of reasons, mainly to help us ensure that kids say no to drugs, but they do a lot more than that. And when we approached them last year in May, when we were talking about and with our community about all the needs we have in improving our schools, but with few funds to do it, they stepped forward and they wrote a grant and they have got that approved. And so now the Madison County Community Foundation, with the approval for the Anderson Community School Improvement Fund, is now $10,000 richer because of their efforts. So would you please thank them for me? And just so everybody knows, we have a number of businesses and community partners that have contributed to our goal. Our goal was $100,000, and that was by December 1st. We fell a little short. We just met 88% of that. So we now have $88,000 to work with special needs for our different schools. So again, would you thank them? The goal was 100,000. We prefer about $250,000 because we have a number of things. So we're going to continue that effort to try to raise some funds, but they have been very instrumental in helping us. So I just wanted to thank them. At this time, Mr. Geisler, we have a very special presentation if you would like to come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. The reason I'm in attendance this evening is to celebrate some
Mr. Geisler.
success.
Would you mind picking the mic up? Thank you.
Thank you, I apologize. My voice is a little scratchy tonight anyway. The reason I'm in attendance this evening is to celebrate some of the successes in our high school band department and to acknowledge and gift the generosity of 3 businesses from Indianapolis that put together a very unique and special donation to the Anderson High School Marching Band. Before I get into that particular donation, there are some students that I'd like to recognize here tonight. If there are any students out there that are here because of the All-District or IMEA Honor Band. I'd like for you guys to stand where you are. These three students in attendance, I'll start from the right over here, Logan Hauser, my right, so the room's left. Logan Hauser, Caleb Melton, and Caitlin McCrae were three students that were accepted into two different honor bands that take place in the state of Indiana. One is the IBA, Indiana Bandmasters Association, All-District Honor Band, which honors, it's a big honor band that students, some of the best musicians from East Central Indiana, get to participate in that band. Caitlin McCrae and Logan and Caleb, all three were a part of that group. We also had three students that were admitted into the IMEA Honor Band, which is a statewide honor band that takes place at a music teacher convention. It takes place in Fort Wayne in January, and Caleb Melton was one of those three that was recognized for that. In total, we had 10 kids that made it into some kind of an honor band this year, and obviously the other 7 were not able to make it. Some of them are sick, some of them have sporting events, some other recognitions and academic things going on tonight. But these were 3 that were able to make it, and I wanted to acknowledge them, and I know we have a certificate for these 3 students. If we can pull out Caitlin McCrae, Logan Hauser, and Caleb Melton. The kids, come on up and let's celebrate your achievement.
Would you mention the students that are not with us?
Oh, absolutely. We don't have a list, so I'm going to try my best to remember. Let's see, we had...
You want these?
That would be great. We had a freshman, Jaden Ogle, who made it in the All-District. We also had Zarek Taylor, Joe Kirkpatrick, who was All-District and the IMEA Honor Band. Also Caleb Melton, who made the IMEA Honor Band. Alex Stanley was conducted in the IMEA Honor Band this year. And Stephen Baker. Now, the great thing about Stephen Baker, he actually was picked to be first chair trumpet and the solo trumpet player for the IBA All-District Honor Band. And great feedback from the conductor who singled out him specifically and came and found me during lunch. So very proud of what our band kids are doing at these events. Okay, the last reason that I'm here is to present to the school corporation a gift that was donated to our marching band. Earlier this year, I was approached by a gentleman named Tracy Clapp. He has a daughter who is a junior in our band program. And Tracy mentioned to me that the company he works for in Indianapolis supplies tires for sports cars in the Indy 500. You'll see from the screen the name of the company is Performance Tire Service Company, and that's a picture of their building. The company, they use a special kind of flatbed pit cart that runs on the equivalent of a golf cart motor to transport tires to vehicles at the Indy 500. His company had an extra pit cart no longer in use, and they asked if our band program would have any use for it. After I enthusiastically agreed, he and his supervisor worked together to make arrangements for it to happen. Within a month, they asked for a good time to drop it off at the school. I was surprised that they were not just going to donate the cart, but that they were actually going to take the special effort to actually deliver the donation. When it arrived, I was completely unprepared for the extra effort that they put into this particular donation. Before I show some pictures of the pit cart on the screen, I've asked one of our boosters members, Andrea Kirkpatrick, to read a letter from Tracy Clapp, who wanted this to be mentioned tonight and was unable to attend the meeting. So, Andrea, if you can read this.
Mr. Geisler, I am employed by Performance Tire Service Company in Indianapolis as a transport driver. PTSD is the exclusive contractor of Firestone Racing Tires for IndyCar. I am also the parent of Lauren Clapp, who is a member of the Anderson Marching Highlander Band. I was approached by the COO of PTSD inquiring if I would be interested in speaking with the band director at Anderson High School to see if the marching band could make use of a pit cart. The COO of Performance Tires feels strongly about supporting marching bands, as she is a past band mom in Indianapolis and was very excited to donate this equipment on behalf of Firestone Bridgestones. She remembers and respects the tradition and excellence of the Highlander Marching Band and is happy to be able to aid the program. I believe the cart will be a great asset by pulling the percussion carts, transporting equipment, and providing a professional appearance for the band. I was saddened to hear that the iconic trailer didn't pass inspection and couldn't be seen at the competitions. So I personally decided to match the Highlander graphics from the trailer to apply to the pit cart. It is extremely impressive to see the tradition and unique appearance that the Anderson Highlanders present in the field, and to have a cart as an exact replica as the trailer to helps bridge that gap until a way can be found to refurbish or replace the trailer. Lauren's mother and I are both graduates of the original Anderson High School and are supporters of the Indians tradition. However, we and several family members and close friends that attended all three of the city's high schools are absolutely thrilled with the continued use of the famous kilts and bagpipes, and all completely support the Marching Highlander name. We are extremely proud to say that we have a daughter as a part of this excellent program. In addition to the cart donation by PTSD, the graphic design was donated by Metro Graphics Services, and the graphic printing was donated by Indies Pro Graphics. Originally, the graphics were going to be a substantial cost, but once they had learned that it was a donation to a marching band program, they were quick to tell me that they'd be very happy to do it all for free. They understand that donations are necessary to support music programs and see it as an absolutely essential part of public education. Everyone involved with this donation supports the Anderson Marching Highlanders, and I will continue to seek donations again when the opportunity arises, even after my daughter has graduated. I truly hope the cart is of great use to you for many years to come, and I am honored to be able to help. Sincerely, Tracy Clapp.
Thank you, Andrea. So what I'll do now is I'll show you over here some of the other stuff about these businesses that came together to do this. So this is the Performance Tire Service Company that does the tires for Indy 500. Metro Graphic Design is the company he talked about that designed the logo. Apparently, Tracy came out late one night, took pictures of the side of the semi-trailer that we've used for contests that didn't pass inspection, and took it to this company to see if they could get a design for it. Indies Pro Graphics, this is a company that applies all kinds of logos and decals to different kinds of trailers, and I put some samples of their work up there with the Zionsville Fire Department, Channel 6 News and all that. And so when this arrived, he had it inside of this humongous trailer. You can't really see it well in the back, but there was an Indy car in the back. I would have much rather had that. But it was wrapped up in this black blanket, didn't think anything of it. He pulled it off the trailer and it looked like this. Yeah, excellent work there. And just as a cute point of comparison, you should have seen the looks on kids' faces when I showed them what this donation looked like. And then we actually took this and put it next to its mama, as we call it. So you can see down here the way this looks. At the trailer. So it's properly stowed. It's not there right now, but we do have it secured. It's a cute little cart, and we were very humbled by the generosity of these companies that came together to do this for us. Since it is a motorized vehicle that comes with all the concerns that insurance takes care of, the Anderson Band Boosters would like to pursue appropriate measures to make that happen tonight. Therefore, Mr. Thompson, on behalf of the Anderson Band Boosters, I would like to donate our new pit cart to the school corporation in order to get it covered on the corporate insurance policy.
And we do need to approve that donation. So is there a motion by Mr. Long? Second by Mrs. Stewart. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? And we have accepted it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your effort, and I remember last spring when we were concerned about your employment here, Mr. Geisler, and we are just thrilled that you are not only growing the program, but you're doing so in an excellent manner, and it is one of our premier programs at the high school, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And if I may, we have a Christmas concert tomorrow night at Reardon Auditorium at 7 o'clock. It's combined bands and choirs. It's free. Doors open to the public at 6:45, and we'd love anybody to come and attend.
Thank you. Most of you know that in the last 2 weeks, we've been very concerned about some inappropriate behavior at our secondary level. And because of that, we made some quick adaptations after a community meeting last Thursday night. And Friday, we had a very good environment at our high school, and yesterday as well. But because that we need long-term effect made on the impression of our young people, starting January 5th, we are going to put a detention school in place. That school will be located at the Paradigm Place. Students who act out instead of or in lieu of being suspended or expelled, because we don't want to put students on the street, these students will be shuttled to their new location where they will undergo a very rigorous day, and they will have a minimum of 3 days. Once they complete those 3 days, if they do so in an appropriate manner, they will be returned to the general population. Our goal is that they never want to return there again, and so it will be sort of a ACS boot camp, so to speak. So that will go into effect January 5th. Our deans and principals, we met this afternoon. I met with Mr. Faulkner to go over this, and we are excited about this opportunity because we need to have long-term effect and we need to have behavior modification. There is one missing piece that we're going to look at next week, and that is a joint effort with either Aspire or Meridian Services, because we all know that the root cause of what's going on needs to be addressed. This is a temporary fix, but it has to be done because we have to assure our students a safe, healthy, and orderly environment, and also our parents have to feel secure in sending their kids to our schools. So that will be called Detention School at the Paradigm Place on January 5th, 2015. Then also, Mr. Brandon, would you please come forward and share a brief statement about the Freshman Center proposal?
Good evening, Board President Gale, Vice President Shirley, Superintendent Thompson, and the rest of the school board. Last month, on behalf of the Anderson High School administration, Mr. Brandis outlined our plans for a freshman center, and we believe moving forward, this is a key transition piece from the middle school to the high school. So tonight, I'm just seeking your support in moving forward with our proposal from last month.
And I might say there is no added expense to any administrative or teacher costs at this time. So, do we have any comments from the board?
I would just say thank you for your work and working with your staff to develop this. I'm excited. I think we'll definitely see some positive growth because of this. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just for the audience, this is a best practice, and we believe this will have a great impact on a very crowded high school. Next, I'd like to talk about our Project Thanks. And I know that it's very difficult for Kelly Tumulty to talk in public. However, Kelly, I didn't tell you this because I knew it wouldn't get you here tonight. So would you please come forward a minute and share with everybody the amount of items we collected and the finances? I'm sorry, Kelly. I'm not really sorry.
We ended up.
Would you pick up the mic, Kelly? We'd like to hear you.
We ended up with over 6,000 cans because yesterday I picked up another 692 because the kids don't want to stop. Even though they're not wearing jeans anymore, they still don't want to stop. They want to give, which is really, really cool. And over $2,566. So that is really, really, really neat. And one thing I wanted to say was the kids are bringing more than one can because they want their friends to be able to wear jeans too if they don't have anything to wear. So that was neat.
What an awesome idea you had, Kelly. Would you give her a round of applause? If I could read this is a letter from Park Place Church of God. Thank you so much for conducting the Anderson Community Schools Project Thanks food drive recently. Your thoughtfulness and generosity, and the generosity of the hundreds of parents, staff, teachers, and students provided 2,067 food items for Park Place Church of God Food Pantry to distribute to our fellow Madison County food insecure neighbors. In addition to those food items, we will be able to obtain from Second Harvest of East Central Indiana Food Bank several thousands of food items with the $1,043.03 that you sent. So everyone's very appreciative of your effort, and you can catch Kelly's interview on Channel 18, our local TV station, or UVerse 99. Thank you again, Kelly. And then lastly, I wanted to share, I think it'd be better and more appropriate if Mr. Merkel did this, but a few weeks ago, he came up with an idea that, again, would help our community, and he didn't know this either, but I have a note here about the items we've collected because of your idea and working with our food service department. Would you like to share the idea that you came up with, Mr. Merkel?
Well, we found a program called Food Rescue. Food Rescue actually takes food that our students are not eating and throwing away and repurposing it to area food banks and shelters. So this program, all we have to do is basically stop the food from going in the garbage can and collect it, provide a safe location if it's refrigerated items to place them in a refrigerator. And once a week we have a volunteer who will come and take them and deliver them. Now, the first 3 days that we did this, we ended up with, I think, 8 large containers of food, large boxes of food. And these were items that would have been thrown directly into the trash can, into the landfill. And they were unopened items, food items, milk, cartons of milk that are unopened. So working with food service, working with the health department to make sure we met all of the guidelines and codes, we are repurposing a lot of the food that children are throwing away to help the needy in our community. And working with food service, I hope that we'll be able to scale this up to all of the elementary schools, the middle school, and the high school. If we had pictures to show, you'd be amazed at the amount of food we're collecting on a weekly basis to donate.
Well, let me give you a picture. 100 8-ounce cartons of milk, 96 4-ounce cartons of OJ, 25 individual boxes of cereal, 25 servings of fresh fruit, 50 servings of canned fruit, 25 servings of fresh vegetables, and 30 miscellaneous breakfast items are delivered weekly to the Christian Center. Mr. Merkel and Erskine Elementary, thank you very much. That's what I call a very successful pilot program before we institute it in other schools. Mr. Gale, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Tonight, for board president's comments, I just want to acknowledge 2 board members. Mr. McGee, who's not here tonight due to health reasons, and Dr. Green. Both of them will be leaving us at the end of this month, and we're going to be transitioning as a board. And so I just wanted to say thank you, Dr. Green, and thank you to Mr. McGee as well, though he's not here, for the time and the sacrifice and the dedication that you've given to the board. It's been quite a journey. There's been some good times and some challenging times. And I know that, Dr. Green, you've not only been a part of it, but you've been a strong, diligent contributor to the board as well. And so your contributions, I know, will go forward and will impact students years down the road. So thank you very much, and we're going to miss you, but I know that you'll go off and do something else that will have an impact on others' lives, because I know that's in your heart. So thank you very much. Next, we have the school showcase. Mr. Thompson, do you want to introduce Erskine, or Erskine Elementary?
Go ahead and stand up, guys. Erskine Elementary School, tradition, service, education. 3 words that define who we are. The vision of Erskine Elementary School is to create an environment that values tradition, service, and education. Students, staff, and community will celebrate the traditions that make us unique, provide service to improve the world we live in, and gain knowledge through education in order to establish a community of lifelong learners. Erskine Elementary opened in 2004. The building was named in honor of Carl Erskine, who donated the land, much to the chagrin of the gentleman who farmed the land. As Mr. Erskine is fond of saying, we are no longer growing corn, we are now growing kids.
Tradition. Like every school, we have our traditions. Skating parties, book fairs, popcorn, pop tabs, but we also have developed a few of our own. The I-Step Pep Rally, Trunk or Treat, after school volleyball for staff, tissue paper hot air balloons, hatching chickens, gold medal readers, literacy night, Elves versus All-Stars basketball games, field day, Carl the Erskine All-Star, Sam the Sky Dancer, and who could forget about our annual staff outrageous over-the-top Christmas sweater, sweatshirt, tie, and hat day. Only an elementary staff member would wear that out in public.
My name is Angel Montero. I'm in fourth grade, and I am an all-star. When I came to Erskine, my behavior was not the best. This is my third year in the alternative school. Now I learned what it means to be trustworthy and caring. We have many service projects we get to help out with to make our school and community a better place to live. There's the Salvation Army kettle right inside our own school in the school uniform Christmas giving tree. We help landscape our school. We have washed blankets for the Animal Protection League. We do all of these things to help our school and our community.
When Erskine first opened, our I-STEP pass rate was 58%. We now have over 80% of our students passing the state assessments, and Erskine is recognized for having more of our low students making high yearly growth than most schools in the state in both English and math. Given that 85% of our student population qualifies for free or reduced lunch, we celebrate each time the state recognizes the hard work of students and staff. For the second year in a row, the Department of Education rated Erskine as an A school. All this while meeting the needs of parents and families. That's why Erskine has a small school feel in a large school setting.
But Erskine also services a very diverse community of students with special needs. We have more disability types than pretty much any other elementary school in Anderson. Specific learning disabilities, mild, moderate, and severe cognitive disabilities, speech, autism, orthopedic impairment, multiple disabilities, other health impairments. And we have the only services for elementary students in the district who are hearing impaired, blind, or visually impaired. We cherish each child and strive to make every one of them an all-star.
Being an all-star is who we are, but being an all-star is also what we do. Our school was built to look like the 6 pillars of Character Counts. Showing good character is literally built into the brick and mortar of what we do. Being an all-star means making good choices.
My name is Isabella Kirkhoff. I am in 5th grade and I am an all-star. I am safe. I do not run down the hallway at school. I listen to my teacher and follow the rules.
My name is Chase Mendoza. I am in 3rd grade and I am an all-star. I am trustworthy. I follow the rules and do the right thing, even when no one is watching. I always tell the truth and encourage others to be honest.
My name is Trace Stinger. I am in 5th grade and I am an all-star. I am accountable. I take responsibility for my own words and actions. If I make a mistake or poor choice, I accept the consequences and try to do better next time.
My name is Diana Kirkhoff. I am in 5th grade and I am an all-star. I am respectful. I am kind to my teacher and other students in my class. I always try to treat others the way I would want to be treated.
My name is Kai Merkel. I'm in 4th grade and I am an all-star. I am successful. I do my homework and bring it back to school. I am doing my best work and it shows. And I rode a bike for the first time ever at Erskine in the hallway. How cool is that?
Remember to be an Erskine All-Star. Be safe, be trustworthy, show accountability, respect, and success. Make it a great day, All-Stars. Thank you.
For those in the audience who don't know what we do, but we got another one?
Got one more.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Alexander.
My name is Alexander Cochran. I'm in 4th grade and I'm an all-star. Carl Erskine, the all-star, likes to play his harmonica for us, and our teachers like to dance as they give us Starbucks. No, Mr. Merkel, not your coffee. Starbucks, the money we get from making good choices every day. But our school mascot, Carl, the Erskine All-Star, also dances around our school, giving high fives and telling us how proud he is for our hard work. Carl, are you here?
So Carl, I'm so glad you could make it tonight. We've had Carl Erskine, the All-Star. This is Carl, the Erskine All-Star. So the board would like to thank you for letting us come brag about our school. One of the things that we enjoy is Starbucks that we give away, but also the popcorn. So the students here have a little gift for you they're going to bring up as soon as we get their pictures taken.
And while you're taking their pictures, for those in the audience who haven't been here before, every month we do a school showcase. I mean, that's what we're about anyway, making sure everybody knows all the great things going on in our schools. So thank you, Mr. Merkel, and thank you to the teachers and staff that are here. And most importantly, thank you to the students. You were awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's awesome. I appreciate that. That is great.
Wow, thank you very much.
We'll take one for Danny. How's that? Cute. He's too cute.
Yeah, since it is a school night, if any of the students in the audience do need to get home and get prepared for the next day, feel free now to exit. Thank you very much. It looks like so much fun, I think we want to go back to elementary school.
Ben White, they're leaving. I just want to say to Kelly and Mr. Urkel how incredible that your initiatives were to give back to our community in that way. That is not part of job descriptions, but that goes above and beyond, and how exciting and proud we are to have you in our school district, both of you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move forward. Next on the agenda is Parent Advisory Council, and I was told Donna Henderson was here to speak tonight. Is there anyone from Parent Advisory Council here to speak tonight? Okay, we'll move forward then. Next we go to comments from patrons. As I call your name, I'll ask you to step to the podium, speak clearly into the microphone, state your name and your address for the record, and we will start the timer and ask people to stick to 3 minutes. So first on the list is Reverend Bill Watson.
Yes, my name is Bill Watson. I live at 1010 Pebble Court here in Anderson, Indiana. Again, I come before this board body, especially tonight. The Board of Trustees has a unique opportunity to make a critical statement to the corporation and to our community by extending the contract of our present superintendent, Tim Thompson. That would be a vote that would send a message that says we're going to stay the course. If you look at what he's done in 5 months to break the impasse on the contract, create initiatives that speak to accountability and caring for kids, I think that if you look at the cycle of progressive movement as a superintendent and his vision moving the school corporation forward, the first year and a half to 2 years is establishing direction and putting in place those administrators and those teaching teams at the building level to impact our students. Then you get into the next year and a half, is at 3 years. Well, what happens once we're in the midst of all of this great change and he doesn't have time to affect his total vision and plan for the corporation? I would just ask that I worked 25 years in a union shop at General Motors. And when I was serving our country, we made a mistake in not allowing for the worldwide headquarters of General Motors to locate here in Anderson. We shut the entire country down. That's because union and management couldn't get together. But I'm saying to you this day, the school board has a responsibility to be the medium between the corporation and its designated leadership for those who work within the corporation. And that's the Anderson Federation of Teachers. Respecting all entities, you have a great task and a responsibility to bring balance between the two. You've given this man the task to move this corporation forward. And I think that the staff that he's assembled and the people that he's bringing into the corporation understand the mission. We're not able to hire teachers until July of any year. So you've got to have a very competent team in place to attract the best, brightest teachers for this corporation so that they can be there to affect education and training in our children. I'm a grandfather and a great-grandfather, and that's my interest here. I'm a businessman, and I hope that when the state at large and the community at large looks at Anderson Community Schools, they can see stability. I think Mr. Thompson deserves this stability. I think that we have done very well in choosing him to be our superintendent. And I'm just asking that the Board of Trustees take the next step in saying we're going to stay the course. We're going to allow this man to have an opportunity to affect his vision and plan for excellence here at Anderson Community Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Watson. Next on the list, we have Mr. Rick Muir.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. I just want to say tonight, from a person who's spent 37 years in the school district and is still involved in education around the state of Indiana, I only want to speak to that to vote on an extension after a few short months is just premature. Now, I may be wrong, but I think Mr. Thompson has 2.5 years left on his existing contract. And I don't want us to act in haste. And I want you to take a look back at history in this school district. We have extended contracts of superintendents, and I know that we've had to buy more than one out. And I'm not saying that in a negative tone about Mr. Thompson's performance, but I'm saying 5 months is too soon to make that call. In 2.5 years, 2 years, my gosh, a 1.5 years from now, if Mr. Thompson's doing a wonderful job, and I wish him all the luck in the world, because if he succeeds, we as a school district and community succeeds. But if he's doing a wonderful job at that time and has had time to prove himself, you have plenty of time to extend the contract. You know, a lot of good things are happening. We saw some of them tonight. I want you to know that there are some things that hold a cloud over our district also. And, you know, you need to have input from others in the district beyond the 7 board members. And I just simply want to say that from a person who's involved, morale's low. A contract that was approved by another superintendent, another board, is under attack, and your employees are feeling pretty low. Now, should it be extended? Maybe it should. All I'm asking is, if it should, consider it when a man or woman's had a chance to truly prove themselves, and you don't have to worry about buying the contract out. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The last person from the public that signed up tonight is Mayor Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith, 734 Forest Drive, Anderson, Indiana. Thank you for affording me this opportunity this evening. Number one, I just want to express my appreciation to Anderson Community Schools. You are doing so much right now for the city of Anderson. You know, economic development and job creation, attracting new jobs to a community is really a very tough job. It's a highly competitive situation we find ourselves in with so many cities, not only across the state, but literally throughout the Midwest and even down south as far as Texas, our competition. One of the most important offerings a community can have is its education system. The reputation of our education system is absolutely everything, because the companies that are looking at us do their due diligence, and they want to come to a community that has a stable public education system that's excelling. They are measuring us. That's part of the competition. So local education is really going to help or hinder Anderson's entire future about how we move forward. Now, I realize that education today is a very, very competitive thing in Anderson, Indiana. Our parents in Anderson 20 years ago had other school systems as the competition where they could move to. And then those barriers came down and they could just enroll their child in a surrounding school corporation. And now we have charter schools as well as some of the other Christian schools that we have in town. So competition is absolutely key. Now I'll also say this from my own personal knowledge, that change in changing an organization sometimes is a slow process. It's not 12 months, it's not 24 months or 36 months. It might be 48 months. And this, I'll just make as a recommendation to the school board. Fix a term that is longer than the current term to give somebody an opportunity to enact policy, effectuate change. Because as human nature and as a community, we are resistant to change to begin with. Although it might be the best direction to head. So what I'm asking is, given a school corporation and the leader of a school corporation, the superintendent, enough time to allow those new policies to go into place and change the direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next on the agenda is the Anderson Federation of Teachers. Is Mr. Fortner here tonight?
Good evening. This may sound redundant, but I thought, since I had already said it last week, I would apply the same message again tonight. The AFT does have concerns with the school board and their process for deciding to extend the contract of a superintendent. All administrative personnel are evaluated on a yearly basis. Currently, all first-time teachers in ACS are evaluated through our intern program. This is a 2-year program to determine if these new employees are of the caliber we want for all our students in the school system. The custodians and secretaries and deans are evaluated each year also. Further, a joint ACS-AFT committee is working on a possible yearly evaluation plan for all teachers, and we're making, I think, quite a good progress on that. Our point is the position of superintendent should be evaluated annually, and any decisions about contract extensions should be made. And to our knowledge, this has not yet occurred. Deciding this early into the tenure of a superintendent does not necessarily make good financial sense for the district. For example, what if there was a person in the position of superintendent whose contract was extended early in their tenure that was shortly found thereafter by the board not to be working out? The board would either have to live with that person in the position or buy out their contract, which could be costly to the school system. And this has actually been the case in some districts. The AFT believes a better approach would be to have yearly evaluations in place for the position of superintendent. Then in the last year of their contract, a decision can be made to either extend that contract or let it expire. This would provide the school board with a strong case for or against an extension, as well as avoiding the possible cost of a contract buyout. There is a proposal currently on the table in negotiations to end the current contract for the certified at least for the certified membership on December 31st, 2014. Yet the board wants to extend the contract of the superintendent only after 5 months and with no evaluation. We believe that a process should be in place, and again, after evaluations occur, there should be plenty of time for deciding to extend or not to extend the contract of a superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Forkman. Next, we have topics for discussion. We have some presentations to the board. The first one is Anderson Elementary School. Mr. Goen and Mr. Payne.
School Board, Mr. Thompson, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Pardon me. I'm excited about this opportunity. I'm excited to introduce this gentleman. This pilot program, Anderson Elementary would like to help them establish a Boys and Girls Club, or a launch program at Anderson Elementary. Mr. Payne here will go into some more detail there. But I want to talk to you for a moment about the philosophies at Anderson Elementary and why this program is important and why we are choosing to partner with Andre and his leadership team with the Boys and Girls Club, like we've partnered with many other partnerships, I guess. The first thing, the philosophy is the community partnerships. Anderson Elementary has sought out several of those this year, and we will continue to do that because that's part of our overarching philosophy at our school. The other thing that I want to focus on is the supporting of all the stakeholders. This program we will help generate this program and get it started, and we would be proud to do that. Our students, our parents, our organizations, our local community would be the beneficiary of this program. And we just want to continue endorsing organizations that help enrich the well-being of students. That's everything that we're doing. That's the premise of all the decisions that we make. Some of the benefits of this program would be reiterating our current 8-step process curriculum. Part of that dialogue that I had with Andre and his leadership team was, if we're going to do this, it's got to have some curriculum-driven motives behind it in supporting our students. We also want to make sure, pardon me again, that we're providing a source of physical activity to promote healthy students. Their program will also do that. We want to build positive relationships with all of our stakeholders within the community and all of those partnerships. And finally, we want to promote an institution that will continue to support our community. So I'm going to introduce, this is Andre Payne. He is a leader of this Boys and Girls Launch program, and he's going to talk to you specifically about the details of it. We're not going to get into too much depth, and we'll give you an opportunity to ask questions, any that you may have at the end. This is Andre Payne.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you to Mr. Thompson and Mr. Goen for being supportive of our vision and being willing to partner and implement. What we'll be discussing today will be the purpose of what we're trying to do as far as our pilot program is concerned, the launch date that we're proposing, and the after-school program layout in general. All right, so essentially what we're looking to do is we're looking to present a pilot program to the community as almost like a sample. So the community can have an opportunity to see what types of programs that we're looking to implement within the Boys and Girls Club that will really have an impact on the community. As I said, my name is Andre Payne. I'm actually a product of this community. And it's communities like this one that had organizations like the Boys and Girls Club that helped propel me to where I am today, teaching and working at Indiana Wesleyan University. What we're looking to do is fulfill a need. There's a huge need out there for young people, especially grades, 2nd to 5th grade. In the evenings, they're at home alone. We're looking to provide a safe and encouraging environment for students in the evenings. We're looking to reinforce education as well as recreation. Obviously, recreation is important. It's important, obviously, with Ms. Michelle Obama's Let's Move campaign to make sure that they're having an active lifestyle. However, we want to really reinforce education. And that's one of the things me and Mr. Goen had talked about, was really reinforcing the curriculum that's already in place with some of our education workshops. Also, we're looking to present a program that builds character. We're not looking to just implement education and recreation, but we're also looking to build future leaders of this city, this state, and this country. And ultimately, what we're looking to do is help you all see the benefit of the programs that we're looking to provide so that we can launch a new and improved Boys and Girls Club around August of 2015. The launch date that we're proposing right now is January 20th. The duration of the program will be an 8-week program. It will be twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. The time frame for the program will be from 3:30 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. And the program will have a maximum of 30 students, which Mr. Matt Goen will actually be selecting the students for the program. The program layout will be designed as follows. The attendance and snack will be from 3:30 to 3:45 p.m. The enrichment activity, which will be essentially us introducing either a sport, music, some type of character building activity, will run from 3:45 until 4:45. Homework time will be from 4:45 to 5:45 p.m. And our educational workshop will essentially be, and I know if you look at it at first glance, it looks like there's a lot of academic curriculum being reinforced. However, what we're looking at is them doing their homework for an hour. After their homework, we're looking at introducing an educational workshop that's really fun. And so what we're going to be proposing is 4 stations that are going to be comprised of reading, science, technology, and math. And they're going to spend 15 minutes, they're going to break up into 4 groups and spend 15 minutes at each station and rotate. We'll be introducing a fun, innovative way for them to learn and be reinforced with the curriculum that's already in place. Questions?
You said that you're looking to relaunch the Boys and Girls Club in the summer. Is there a group of individuals here in Anderson who have come together to do that?
Yes, we've established a leadership team.
Okay. And You talked about Indiana Wesleyan. Are you a student there?
No, I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher there?
Yes.
Okay. What do you teach?
I teach business classes.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I want to share with you the fact that this has been an ongoing discussion since late July, and I really appreciate your team of people coming together because your heart is absolutely in the right place. And the goal is, again, we've got to find out if we can engage our kids after school in productive activities so that we're not dealing with a detention school at the high school level. This has got to be embedded, it's got to be a community effort, and that's why I appreciate Andre, Gal, all the things that you're doing, trying to bring this to the vision to practice. So we just thank you for your effort. And Mr. Goen, in order to do this, this would be an extension of the day at Anderson Elementary School. This is not a separate entity. So we would need your approval to be able to move forward with this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve going ahead with this program as presented. Okay, we have a motion to approve the program.
I'll second that.
The motion was by Mr. Long and the second was by Mrs. Shaley. Is there any discussion?
May I ask one more question? Is there any cost involved to the school corporation with this?
No, ma'am. Mr. Payne, would you like to address that? Because we have a number of community partners who we would be dealing with, who all have criminal background checks and everything. Would you make sure the whole board understands that piece?
Yes, there would be no cost associated with this. We partnered, for example, for the snacks, we partnered with the Hoosier Park Casino, and they've been gracious enough to provide us with snacks, as well as some of the local churches as well. So we have that covered. There will be no cost there. Some of the local churches have also said they'll be willing to volunteer recreational items as well as some of the educational items that we would need to. So.
Okay, as far as personnel involved with this, you said there'd be 30 students. How many adults would be involved with the program?
Yeah, we want to make sure that there's a good student-to-teacher ratio. And so what we are doing is we have about 15 volunteers from Anderson University, Ivy Tech, that are going to come together and provide support for our students during this period of time.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I guess I would just like to say, Mr. Gale, and thank you, Mr. Payne, for willingness to come and share this and offer. I think the message to me tonight, I mean, over and over from some of the superintendent's comments and the presentations and donations, and I think I'm just struck with how service, people willing to serve, inspires. It inspires hope, and it inspires achievement, it inspires character. We are all better because of the service of people who are willing to volunteer and to give. It's very encouraging to me. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
And I do support it.
All right. If there are no more questions or comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And it passes. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is a presentation by Dr. Scott.
And Dr. Scott has part of her staff here tonight to share some information because Eastside, or E2, is not accepting a C grade as where they want to be, so they have some items they'd like to share with you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson and board, and thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit more about our school. I asked my data coach, Jessica Swafford, to be a part of this presentation because for our learning log meetings, which are so vital to what we do, Jess and I tag team this. So you might get to see a little bit of a flavor of what that looks like, but that's how it works at our school. As we decided about this, we decided we needed a new motto. So we wanted to take on a new little tagline here that says that we feel like that we are more than an average school. I want to just talk a little bit tonight about our population so you kind of get an understanding of this. And I gave you the last 3 years, and you can see that currently our population is 517 students. That is of today. added 5 students yesterday. And I think really the difference with that, you could see 2012-13, we moved our kindergarten over because we were so overcrowded with 668 kids. And some other schools are feeling that right now as well. We opened up the Killbuck extension. This past year, what I'd probably attribute the loss to is the No Child Left Behind, which we bused lots of students to our school, and that made a big difference with our incoming students. Just to give you another opportunity to look at what our ethnicity looks like at our school from last year to this year, it's not really that much different, but you do see that our free and reduced lunch has gone up, even though our population has gone down. So we're about 81.25%. I do want to really take some time to highlight some great things about our school academically. First of all, if you can just look right here at the iRead results, this is the last 3 years of iRead results at our school. 84%, then we moved to 88%, and we are incredibly proud of the 90% that our school was able to reach last year. I think that's a pretty tough feat to do for all of us, and I'm speaking for a lot of other elementary principals as well here, but really excited about that. Want to move your eyes down to this stat right down here. This is just from last year to show you the improvements that we made. Especially look at the 4th and 5th grade, but our 5th grade moved up 14 and 16%. And all of us that are in education will take those kind of percentages any day. And that, I think we're really proud of that. A little dip, as you can see, in 3rd grade, but what you need to know about that is that 3rd grade was a hard across the board, across Anderson, across Indiana. This just happened to be a harder test, and you would have seen this dip really across the board in Indiana. Draw your attention right up here to our ISTEP results. And this is what I want to talk about. Bottom line is 78% in our ELA, 80.4% in math. So what the state does, as you know, I'm probably not giving you a new lesson, but I'm going to try to put it in really easy terms. If you look at a scale, 78% is a C, 80% is a B, and you average those two together and it's still a C. That's what our school ended up at. There are some ways that you can get extra points, but knowing this 78% are some things that you need to know about that. That's about 4 students away from 80%. It's not a very high percentage. So we had to say, what are some other things that we could do? There are ways to get bonus points, but so that's what we have talked about a little bit. What's next for us? But I want to also give you an idea of some of the challenges that we face. It's not an excuse, but it does tell you a little bit more about our school. This is information that I got from A.G. Vickery this year that gives you an idea about the special education population that's in Anderson. Currently, we're at 30% of our students. 517 students, 30% of those students are special education. The stats that you looked at from our ISTEP scores, just to give you another hint, was we've changed. We've gone up 5% in our special education. So last year, 25%. And I want to reiterate, 4 students away from being a B. That doesn't have anything to do with bonus points. Here are the goals that we had, and just really draw your attention just to the ones that I highlighted, because that's the easiest to look at. These are our PL 221 goals, to have a 96% attendance rate. Right now, we're hovering around 96%. We're excited about that. We've been over that for the first 2 months that we were in school. Dipped down a little bit more right now. Our goal, we tried to make realistic goals this time because we had to make big strides last year. So if you noticed, we went up 5% in ELA and math last year as a whole. So our goals are to go on up to 80% from 1st through 5th grade. So if you look at both goals in A and B. And then our second one is to move from 80 to 82%. Again, want to interject again, how does that happen? That's about 4 students. Now, there are other ways that you can certainly get bonus points. So, as Jess and I sat down to talk about how does this happen, many other schools got bonus points, and that's the one area that I think we need to spend some time looking at. How do I get that? And what does that equate to? So I have to go back to a couple of things. Again, remember, 25%, 30% of our students are special education students. And I also want to go on to state that about 10 or 12 of our other students, our high ability students, are moved to 10th Street. So what do we need to do? And this is where I'm going to ask Jess to step in with this. We looked at 2 big areas, and I'm going to let her talk about this a little bit.
So looking back to the slide that was just there, talking about our goals. Dr. Scott said we wanted to set realistic goals. We know what our challenges are. We were a C school, according to the state, last year. And we know looking forward, we have a new test coming at us that has increased rigor. We also have an increase in our special ed population that will be tested. And the test that used to be in place for those special ed students is no longer going to be offered. And another challenge is that our high ability students are still going to a different school. So knowing all of these challenges that are facing us, we wanted to be realistic in our goals. We fully believe we can achieve the plus 80%. So we were looking at our core instruction. And this was a bit of a challenge for us because we fully believe in our staff. We have been working hard for several years. And we continue to work hard, and so it's hard to accept to see, knowing how hard that we've worked. But it is where we're at, and we have to look forward and say, what else can we do? So core instruction, knowing our challenges, we've been working hard to understand the new Indiana Academy, the college and career ready standards, so that our teachers understand what is going to be expected on the upcoming assessment. We realize that those standards are upping the ante. It's not just skill-based anymore. What we're asking kids to do is to apply a lot more logic and reasoning rather than just demonstration of skill. So in understanding those standards, we're doing we're having a lot of conversations through our log meetings and talking about that increased rigor. That core instruction, those activities that we're providing, they need to not only be engaging, which is something we always strive for, but to be thought-provoking. It's not enough for kids to just demonstrate a skill. They have to be able to apply it in lots of different circumstances. You can't just show me 2 + 2. They have to be able to tell me, why is that? And so that's kind of a shift that all of our teachers are working on, and I think that we're doing a good job with our collaboration and moving forward to get to that point. Another area we're working on is student ownership of their learning. This isn't new. We've been working at this through goal setting with our students, but we're taking a little more systematic approach to it. And Dr. Scott and I are kind of honing into our bottom 25, the lower performing students, to have them come in and really go over their goal setting with us. We know that there's a lot of apathy with students. A lot of times why do I have to know this? Why do I have to do this? And a lot of times they don't see that the grades that they're earning are the actual something they're actually earning. Kids will say, well, why did I get that on that paper? Or why did you give me a B? I thought I should have an A. The shift needs to change to what did I earn? The ownership that we're working for with kids is kind of a cause and effect development for them to understand that it's not enough just to say, this is where I want to be. plan to get there? What do they need to do? And helping to develop that sense of responsibility and accountability that they are in charge of their learning. Another thing that we're doing is frequent data review. This is not new. We've been doing this for years. We're focusing a little more on acuity this year because right now, acuity is the closest thing that we have to the new test that's coming. It has, it's the assessment that is on the new standards. So we're looking at that to see really what is the increase in the rigor.
I just want to give an example on our next slide here. This is one of the new things that we talk about all the time, that our teachers are just working their tails off. And if you came by my school, if you came by Scott's school, anybody's school, any weekend, you will see cars there all the time. And one of our teachers, when we always say don't try to just reinvent the wheel, found this as she was teaching, just found this poster and started talking to Jess and I about it one day. How great would this be just to be able to really, just another piece to help our students really understand what it means to be able to restate a question and answer it and then cite it. So they really understand that. And we got really excited about this, both of us did. And Jessica was going to a coaches meeting and shared it with the coaches meeting, and then they all did the same thing, got excited about it, and decided to take this on. As you see at the top, these are posters that are being made right now for everyone in the corporation. So you don't have to just keep reinventing the wheel, but that's just an example of how much we're trying to make some new things, not totally new things, but how hard they're working to say, how can our students get this better? The other piece of this puzzle for us, here's another way, how do we earn some more points? And we really have to look at how do we get some growth points. I've spent some time with Ryan before looking at all of our grades, and spent some time last week with Kathy McCarthy. I saw her at a meeting and I said, hey, could you just give me some advice? Look at the data with me. So she met with me. We're going to meet again tomorrow as well. But here's the bottom line, the other part. If you remember at the beginning, I said we were 4 students away from a B. To get a bonus point in ELA, your bottom 25, this is one way to get it, your bottom 25% of your students in grades 4 and 5 have to have a 42.5% increase, okay? For us, we were 1 student away in ELA from 1 point. That's how close we were. The same thing if you go to the math side, in our bottom 25%, you have to have a 44% increase. We were 1 student away in math. So not only were we had the potential, that's 2 students, could have been even the same student, that we would have been an A school, not just a C school. That's how close we were. So it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's frustrating, but good to know that there's a lot of great things happening at our school. Challenging, so that's what we're gonna do. We've identified our bottom 25%, which everybody has. This isn't a new thing either, but we're gonna really try to spend a lot of time with that group, because I think that's where we can get a lot of bang for our buck. Other points that you can get are with your other 75%. So I'm gonna let Jess finish with this.
So we've kind of been calling this chasing the bonus point. We've done this the last few years where we've identified the bottom 25 students. And last year we had teachers adopt one of the students to be their mentors or mentee and do extra work with them. But this year we are going to do a little more than that. We're creating a wall with those students' names on it, because it will kind of be static. If any new student moves in, they could displace someone from that bottom 25. So always being aware of who those students are in that bottom 25 category, and making sure that we're tracking all of their data so that we're seeing any gains that they are making or if they're not making extra efforts that we need to put forth. Another thing that we're doing is our reading specialists are servicing 1st through 5th grade. So our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students are getting extra reading support from them. We've had a systematic approach to RTI in the past. We're continuing that with the efforts, the added assistance of Pivot. We are, I think, going to have better communication about what's going on, better documentation of the interventions that are being provided. We also are using the college and career ready assessment sample questions. That is a resource available to teachers and students to really experience what the new test is going to be like. So we're spending time with that so that the teachers and the students are familiar with it. And then we're also going to be providing additional small group instruction. Have a lot of that going on in the classrooms with teachers. We're going to utilize our specials teachers to have extra time, and I am also going to have a few extra groups. So there's lots of extra support that we're putting in place, because although we've been working really hard, we're just barely missing it, and we're determined to get there.
So, in spite of all the challenges, I just want you to know our teachers are working hard. This is kind of our plan that we just wanted to lay out for you to say, here's the things that we're doing. Feel confident about that even with the challenges. So, one of the things that we like to do is try to be proud, positive, and productive. So this is our staff saying Merry Christmas to you for tonight. So, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions at all?
I'm just real curious. When you remove high-performing kids from your school, I would think it does impact your data at some point. So in consideration of that, knowing that you are void of those top scores, would that have probably changed those indicators, right?
Yes, it would have. I mean, there's a 10 to 12 of those at another school, and really 4%. I mean, I said it was really 4 to 5 students. If you're high ability, you're certainly thinking you're going to have that pass or pass plus on there. So, yeah, I think it had the potential to easily make us a B school.
Thank you for coming to share tonight. I feel bad in a way that you're feeling this struggle, and that, you know, there's some element of playing the game that the state puts out in front of. We get that. You don't.
We appreciate that.
You don't. I mean, I think the idea that you feel like, oh goodness, you know, we need to demonstrate that we're really trying. We know it, and we appreciate it. And you guys are doing a fabulous job. And keep it up. It'll happen. It'll happen. But we also understand the political realities of A and B and C and what that represents in the public relations view and all of that. But you don't have to prove it to us. We get it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you please go back and communicate with your staff that we really appreciate all their effort around trying to diagnose the problem and then what the plan is going forward. That's a huge effort on their part, and we appreciate it.
It is, and we appreciate that. So you're welcome anytime to be in our school and see what we're doing. So there's lots of great things that are happening there, so thank you.
Thank you. Moving forward on the agenda, the topic of the superintendent's contract and the proposals to some amendments to that contract. First, I want to, if there's anyone here who has spoken either tonight or at the public hearing that we had a week or so ago, I want to just say thank you. The process that the state lays out to make this change is really out there for public input. We've received a lot of input, and I do appreciate it, and all comments and concerns were heard. So I appreciate those who've come in and done a great job of communicating with us. I also want to say thank you to Mr. Thompson. It's an odd thing to have your employment, the terms of your employment, so publicly displayed and commented on. I know in no position that I've ever been in has there been a newspaper article that shows everything that that I would be getting or entitled to in that. So thank you for your grace and your patience through that process. Before the board moves forward with this item. I would like to just give Mr. Thompson the opportunity to make any comments that he sees fit.
Well, you know, I'm not going to turn down an opportunity to make comments, so I'll try to be brief because we need to move along. We've got some very important business. You know, Mayor, it's imperative that Anderson Community Schools does a much better job portraying what we do well. I believe we're the best kept secret in East Central Indiana, and I've said that multiple times, but we got a long way to go. And it's been a short time, a year and a half here in Anderson, but I see, as Dr. Green, you alluded to, this community is putting forth a great effort to make great change in this school. Everyone in here, I also want to thank the principals and our cabinet. I know you're very supportive because we do need stability in this school district. We don't need a bunch of changes, but we need to make the right decisions so we can afford the opportunities for our kids to do well. Everybody in this room knows that I believe it is imperative to evaluate teachers. I don't care if you're year 1 or year 30. That needs to be done. We need to be in line with Indiana code, and we will get that done. Don't know when that timeline is, but we will get that done because it's what's best for students that counts. And that's what we're about. So at this time, Mr. Gale, I would like you to consider my contract with the exception of the 2-year extension.
Okay.
Because I want to be evaluated, and we have a great evaluation tool that we can share with everybody. It's not my evaluation tool, everybody. It's the Indiana School Board Association. It's much longer than any evaluation you'll go through, and that's okay. I'm fine with that, and we will do that. I suggest that be completed no later than June 30th, 2015.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Hearing the superintendent's request then to strike the adjustment to the term of the contract, to keep that as it is, but to keep the other 3 adjustments. I'm sorry, the 2-year extension. So we're striking the 2-year extension.
Don't strike my contract.
No, would there be a motion to approve that amended contract?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept Mr. Thompson's request and vote simply.
Okay, so we have a motion from Mr. Long, and we have a second from Mrs. Shaley. And again, this is to approve 3 of the 4 changes in the contract, excluding the 2-year extension. I just want to make sure that everyone is clear on what we're voting on. I would like to invite an opportunity if there's any questions or comments from board members.
I'd like to just make a comment. I want to speak in support of the motion. Certainly for the year that Mr. Thompson was at Anderson High School, for the several months that he's been the superintendent. Personally, I've been incredibly impressed with the job that he's done. I felt like going off of the board, I grieve a bit, and yet felt like one of the last important decisions I would be a part of is selecting the superintendent. Feeling like my role from the standpoint of being elected by the community to foster a cultural change. And I think one of the things that we've watched is this cultural change occur at Anderson Community Schools. And Mr. Thompson is an important part of that cultural change. And I'm thrilled, Mr. Thompson, that you would consider being the superintendent here at Anderson. And I'm so thankful. I guess I want to just take a moment to not just to thank him, but to appreciate even the notion of saying we've heard from the public, and as a statement of his integrity, to step back and say, you know what, I'm willing to be evaluated even if I'm asking teachers to be evaluated. We love our teachers. We're so thankful. I am a little concerned at times that we have a culture that sometimes suggests that if there's something that we disagree with regard to the union, that we're anti-teacher. I hope that we're more than that. We really do support. I value the presence of the union. I think the value of even the balance of powers, as we alluded to earlier tonight, the fact that there is, the gentleman who spoke earlier here in the second row, to say that there is an importance of balance, that if the administration has control and the teachers have no say, that's not going to be a healthy situation, and that has been the case historically. The same way, if the union has control of over the teachers and the board, that's not a healthy situation either. And so the idea of fostering healthy relationship and a balance of powers, I think, is really important. And I appreciate Mr. Thompson's role in that. I appreciate this board's role, and I appreciate Mr. Faulkner's role. Mr. Faulkner has been a tremendous catalyst on behalf of the Federation of Teachers to cultivate a cultural change, and appreciate his collaboration. And so I just want to say that and say thank you for allowing me to serve. It seemed like the appropriate time to say that. I'm honored to serve the community of Anderson and love Anderson, love to be a part of it. And I appreciate again Mr. Thompson's willingness to serve and speak in support of the amended contract.
Thank you, Dr. Green. Are there any other comments or questions?
I would just like to say that I think that Mr. Thompson is doing a great job, as he did at the high school as the principal out there for a year, and now that he stepped into the superintendent role, I think he's doing a great job engaging the community, the city, and doing all the things that we want to publicize what all is going on in Anderson Community Schools, to get that word out there, to engage our public, and to invite people to come back to us that maybe have left for various reasons. I hope that he feels like he has the full support of the board, because we wouldn't have hired him last year if we weren't supportive of him. And he does have our support, and I would like to recognize his humility in saying, yes, he wants to be evaluated before we extend that contract. I think that's a great sign of a great leader. Thank you very much for that.
I'd like to take and echo what Jean has just said. And Terry, in approaching things this way and sensitive to the public and the different things going on, this is the hallmark of a true class individual and a leader of champions, or a champion leader. And I fully support everything that's been said. And Terry, I'm glad you're sitting there in front of the firing squad instead of me.
Thank you, Mr. Long.
You know I appreciate you, don't you? Absolutely. I appreciate all the more the decision made today. And I know that we will continue to grow. Just be one. Absolutely.
I will speak out just in support as well. I think we've seen a dramatic increase in positive initiative that have begun under Terry Thompson's leadership. I know that is partially his leadership, it's partially those that he is surrounding himself by and empowering at every level. And there are some great things happening. I do believe that we need to continue to support the direction that he is leading us. I think that it's an exciting time when we see the presentations and seeing the community come out in such strong support of the corporation and its superintendent is very meaningful, and I think it alludes to the fact that it gives us a hint of what we can continue to become and what the corporation can be seen, or can be several years down the road if we do have consistency in direction and we're not always shifting back and forth. The state does the shifting enough for us, so we just need to kind of stay the course. So at this point, if there are any other...
One more thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, because one of the most important things we can do as leaders, I don't care whether you're in the classroom, which is the most important leader, or in our role, you got to surround yourself with great people. You know, and I inherited a great team, and they work so hard to make sure all your needs are met. Our number one job is to support our principals and teachers, and we have to do that. So we will continue to do that with great grace and dignity, and our principals, we have excellent principals, and we'll continue to move forward with this school corporation. Thank you again.
One last note, there's been a lot of discussion of evaluation. There was never an intent, I just want to make sure this is clear so there's no confusion, there was never an intent to not evaluate the superintendent. The evaluation does happen once every year, and we're going to continue to do that as we would expect should be done. So at this time, if there are no more comments, I would say all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Okay, now we move on. As exciting and adventurous as that was, we get to something even more exciting, which is Mr. Brown with the pension bonds.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, you took a little of my thunder away. I was going to say, I bring an exciting concept to the board tonight that would put most normal people to sleep, but I'm rarely considered very normal, so there you have it.
You have 5 minutes to break your
Okay, I'll do my best. Last month, we did a PowerPoint presentation on the restructuring and refunding proposal that we're bringing to you this evening. Let me briefly talk about what that entails. Very, very briefly, a review from last month. The refunding opportunities for our pension bonds, and we're simply going to refund them based on prevailing interest rates. We're going to lower the interest rates on the remaining term of the bonds and save over $200,000 a year in doing so, and that will simply reduce the tax rate and reduce the burden on the taxpayers. It's an excellent thing, and we're excited about that. The second item is the restructuring of our construction debt. 2 of our 3 construction bonds that are outstanding, we're proposing that we restructure those. And what the legislature did in recent years was they recognized the blow that urban school systems took as a result of the circuit breaker and made many of those school systems eligible for a special restructuring to allow us to recapture some of the capital money that is a result of the lowered interest rates and lowered payments, recapture that money to be reused or to be used for capital improvements, since our capital projects fund has been decimated by the circuit breaker. That's what we're proposing tonight. What is entailed here is that the savings that we would reap by the restructuring would go into capital improvements anywhere from $900,000 to $1.7 million per year for the next 10 years. And we would keep the debt service repayment at the same level, not raising the property taxes at all. And so, like I said, I think that's a very, very exciting thing for us. It will allow us some capital money that we otherwise do not have access to on an annual basis for 10 years. Now, this evening, we have advertised to conduct 2 public hearings. One on the refunding of the pension bonds and one on the restructuring of the construction bonds. And so it would be appropriate, Mr. President, to allow anyone in the public to speak on either of those 2 issues.
Okay, if there is anyone who would like to speak to either of those 2 issues, please approach the podium. I'm always surprised, Mr. Brown, that the public doesn't typically take that opportunity.
They find it as exciting as I do and think it's a good thing.
Well, you may proceed.
Thank you very much. In moving ahead with what we need to do this evening, there are 4 resolutions. They are contained, well, let me outline them. Resolution R 2014-69, relevant to the refunding of the pension bonds, is on page 19, as well as Resolution 2014-70 on pages 20 through 32. With regard to the restructuring of the construction bonds, we have Resolution 2014-71 on pages 33 through 37, and Resolution 2014-72 as revised on pages 38 and 39. And I would recommend that the board adopt those 4 resolutions this evening.
Is there a motion to adopt all 4 resolutions?
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Shaley. All in favor say aye. All opposed? We have passed all 4 resolutions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we come to board actions. Mr. Thompson.
Mr. Brown, would you just present our financial report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. If I can direct the board's attention to pages 4 and 5, you'll find the recommendation to approve the payment of claims you received in your mailing, number 48757 through 49280, and the accompanying resolution.
Is there a motion to approve? So moved. I heard a motion by Mr. Long. Was that a second by Mrs. Shagley? All in favor say aye. All opposed? And that motion carries.
Thank you.
We have an extensive human resource report.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. If I could direct the board's attention to the human resource report and the accompanying resolution R 2014-66, which begins on page 6 with the resolution on page 10 that includes an appendix to the human resource report and a couple of last minute changes. Certified new hire, Shannon Bell, Southview Preschool. Certified leave of absences for Angel Alexander and Penny Mack. Resignation, Sari Harris from Erskine. Non-certified new hires, Justin Bates, Victor Gaitan, Pamela Johnson, Taylor Massey, Becky Shaw, Joshua Waylage. Non-certified resignation, Kaylee Gohan, Anderson High School, Adrian King, Eastside Elementary, Shelby Kirkwood, Highland Middle School, Brandon Travis, Israel Elementary School. Non-certified retirement, William Cornell, custodian at Erskine. A certified leave of absence, Teresa Dowers. And non-certified new hires, Sean L. Moore, Allison McCune. And non-certified resignation, Jordan Kettering. Non-certified termination, Brooke Wyman, school nurse. We have a couple additional items. Extracurricular position, girls softball coach, Mr. Mike Lee. For spring sport, is Mr. Lee here? Board, you do it one more time, please, and board take a look. And an additional non-certified position, Patrick Overfield, who was AHS Field Tech, will begin on January 5th. If I can ask the board to turn the page to page 9, we do have Amendment 1 to the December Human Resource Report. These are administrative assignments and reassignments. I have to go down the list, and then Ms. Thompson, I'll let you introduce after we do that. These will be effective on January 5th. The recommendations are reassignment of Mr. David T. Arena to Principal, Highland Middle School. Reassignment of Mr. Jeff Brandis to be Associate Principal, Highland Middle School. Reassignment of Ms. Kelly Durr to Assistant Principal for Operations, Anderson High School. Reassignment of Mr. Eric Davis to be Assistant Principal for Curriculum at Anderson High School. And new hire, Dr. Tim Smith, to position yet to be determined, effective all of these January 5th.
At this time, we'd be remiss. Mr. Schindler, would you like to introduce our new softball coach, please? We want to run the same processes we have for any of our varsity coaching positions. And so, Mr. Schindler.
I'm here representing the softball committee from Anderson High School, which included teachers, deans, administrators, community members, parents of former and current softball players at Anderson High School. We conducted our interviews. Mr. Lee is our recommendation for that softball position. One of the unique characteristics of Mr. Lee is that he has a varied background, including travel ball. He coached at Highland High School when it was still around, and he's also a collegiate coach at Anderson University. So he brings a lot of diversity to the softball program at Anderson High School. In making the reference checks on Mr. Lee, he was considered a very passionate person in no matter what his job is. He's a 20-plus year member of the Anderson Police Department. He's a lifelong resident of Anderson. He's on the police department. He's done everything from a patrolman to lab to actually the assistant chief at one time. He also does security at Highland Middle School. So he has had a variety of jobs in the community.
We would like to give Mr. Lee an opportunity to speak. Sorry, Mr. Lee.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be part of the Anderson Community Schools once again. I think the school system is involved in some very positive direction right now, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Look forward to getting started. You gonna start tomorrow? Thursday? Okay.
Actually, I've already been looking at the diamonds, it's already started.
Spoken like a true coach. And then at this time, I would like to have Mr. Tiarina, and would you please come forward and make some comments? Mr. Tiarina, as you know, is becoming principal at Highland Middle School on January 5th. Would you like to have your associate principal join you?
Well, sure I would.
Absolutely. On, Mr. Brandis.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board and Superintendent Thompson, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity that we're being offered to go to Highland Middle School. I believe that our skill sets and our background knowledge lend themselves well to this building. And I think that sooner rather than later, we'll start to see some positive things happen. In saying that, I want to emphasize that those positive things can't happen without the current administration that's there now, all the hard work and dedication that they have put into that building. Their innovative thinking has laid a solid foundation. And as we all know, you can't do anything without a solid foundation. That is in place. And hopefully we'll be able to go and show the state of Indiana what we already know, that Highland is a great place with a dedicated staff and great students.
Mr. Brandis?
I don't know how I top that. But again, just thank you for the opportunity to go to Highland. And again, you know, they are doing good things out there, and we just need to maybe tweak a couple things and get it to where it needs to be a school.
Yes. And we are excited about Mrs. Durr's ability to lead and discipline, which we're excited to get that going on January 5th at Anderson High School. And Mr. Davis is entering a new paradigm with high school curriculum, and we're excited about that because they are very dedicated and loyal employees of Anderson Community Schools. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Is there a motion then to approve the Human Resources Report?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Long. Is there a second? Second by Mrs. Shaley. Yes.
Mr. Creviston, I had a question. You added 2 people, the softball coach and then someone else.
It's a field tech representative. It's the position, we've grown a tech position to really reduce the turnaround time to receive devices and tablets. It's going to be in the buildings and received and turned around and distributed there. We're growing, obviously, as the technology changes and the number of devices, it's being decentralized, and also the expectation is the tech that's going to be working on the devices in a particular building will be housed in that building.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion carries.
I do want to share with you that we have a grievance on the table, but
Mr. Thompson, we do have field trip.
I am so sorry. Mr. Blaze?
I would like to direct the board's attention to page 11 in your binder. And look, we have 2 field trips to approve, one for the JAG National Student Leadership Academy and also another to tour the campus. We also have several professional development opportunities, many of which are looking at PLTW. There is a significant numbers of us that are attending a conference down in Florida for technology. So that's going to be a great opportunity, a great national conference, so we're excited about that. And I would ask the board to approve Resolution R-2014-67.
Is there a motion to approve that? So moved. Motion by Mr. Long. Is there a second? Anyone on this side of the table, maybe?
Sure.
Second by Dr. Green. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? And that motion carries. Mr. Thompson.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Glaze. I was so excited to talk about a grievance that I failed to allow you to do your job. We do have a grievance that's on the table. However, I do want to let you know that Mr. Fortner and I have been in communication since last Friday about this situation, and we will come to a resolution. He is doing his job as the ombudsman to make sure that we can get through this situation.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Next we come to old business.
Mr. Creviston will present this.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I would like to read for the board Resolution R-2014-73. Recommend that the board accept this resolution in its consideration of contract, specifically cancellation of contract for certificated employee. Resolution R-2014-73. Whereas the Anderson Community School Corporation and the Anderson Federation of Teachers, the exclusive representative of the teachers, agreed upon a teacher's assistance and assessment process referred to as the Anderson Assistance Review Program. And whereas the underlying PAR agreement is set forth in the 2010-2018 collective bargaining agreement. And whereas the PAR process is governed by the PAR Board of Review, a 9-person board in which 5 members are teachers appointed by the AFT president and 4 members are administrators appointed by the superintendent. And whereas the PAR Board review decisions may be made by only 6 affirmative votes, and whereas any teacher after the first year, such as Ms. Davis, may be referred to the PAR process for assistance in the case of potential teaching deficiencies. And whereas if a teacher is referred to the PAR process for assistance, the PAR Board reviews the referral and determines whether a consulting teacher should be appointed to conduct 2 observations to provide a factual basis for the PAR Board review to determine whether this referral should occur. And whereas Ms. Davis was referred to PAR for assistance and that she was observed by a consulting teacher, and whereas on February 26, 2013, Ms. Davis was placed into PAR because of observed deficiencies in Ms. Davis's teaching performance and pursuant to a vote by the PAR Board of Review. And whereas after some 14 observations by consulting teachers, Ms. Davis ended the year in the category of unsatisfactory. And whereas the PAR Board of Review, after multiple meetings and reviews on September 2nd, 2013, voted to place Ms. Davis in PAR intervention. And whereas after an arbitration hearing, an independent arbitrator determined there were no errors in substantive due process in the PAR procedures. And whereas after observations by consulting teachers and a report to the PAR Board of Review, the PAR Board of Review voted on January 14, 2014 to recommend to the Anderson Community School Corporation the cancellation of her contract. And whereas, after reviewing the recommendation of the PAR Board of Review and the Anderson Community School Corporation the Anderson Community School Corporation initiated the teacher contract cancellation procedure pursuant to Indiana Code 20-28-7.5 on the statutory grounds of incompetency on August 27, 2014. And whereas Ms. Priscilla Davis, represented by counsel, had a conference with the superintendent on September 10, 2014. And whereas Ms. Priscilla Davis had a conference with the Anderson Community School Board of Trustees on October 28, 2014. And whereas the teacher contract cancellation process followed by Anderson Community School Corporation in connection with Priscilla Davis meets all of the statutory requirements set forth in Indiana Code 20-28-7.501 and all that follows, and the information submitted by the board constitutes the factual basis to determine that Ms. Davis' contract be canceled based on the statutory ground of incompetency. And whereas at the board conference and a post-hearing brief, Ms. Davis's counsel contended that Ms. Davis had not received an annual evaluation as required by Indiana statute included in IC Indiana Code 20-28, and therefore Ms. Davis should not be dismissed. And whereas Anderson Community School Corporation and the Anderson Federation of Teachers have entered into the collective bargaining agreement prior to the 2011 Indiana statutory enactment, which mandated annual teacher evaluations, and therefore the agreed-upon PAR process is protected by the Contracts Clause of the Indiana Constitution, Article 1, Section 24. And Anderson Community School Corporation does not need to comply with Indiana Code 20-28-11.5 and sections that follow at the current time. And whereas the Board of School Trustees of the Anderson Community School Corporation is responsible for the determination of whether a teaching contract should be canceled pursuant to Indiana Code 20-28-7.5, now therefore the Board of School Trustees of the Anderson Community School Corporation hereby approves the cancellation and termination of the certified teaching contract of Ms. Priscilla Davis, elementary teacher, and effective December 9, 2014, on the grounds of incompetency, and make the recommendation to the board to accept and pass resolution R-2014-73. Thank you.
As Mr. Kremston mentioned in that resolution, there was a board hearing. At that board hearing, there were 4 board members present. Those 4 board members will be the ones that are voting on this tonight, since they were at the hearing to hear the case there. Those 4 board members will be Mrs. Shaley, Dr. Green, Mr. Long, and Mrs. Stewart. So is there a motion from any of you 4? Motion by Mr. Long to approve the resolution. A second by Mrs. Shaley. Is there any need for discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Hearing 4 votes, that motion carries. Under new business, we have adoption of new policies and procedures for special education. Mrs. Bickert?
Thank you, Mr. President. If I could direct your attention to page 56 for resolution number R-2-2014-68, actions related to special education law. Tonight, I recommend the board adopt this resolution in directing the ACS Special Education Department to adopt the accompanying practices which are necessary to bring ACS special education practices into compliance with changes in implementation of Article 7 and other federal laws concerning special ed. The resolution reads, whereas federal regulations require updates to special education practices, and whereas certain actions are required by the Board of School Trustees of the Anderson Community School Corporation to be in compliance with the law on the most cost-effective basis. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of School Trustees of the Anderson Community School Corporation hereby directs and authorizes as follows to be effective December 9, 2014. Administrative guidelines will be established that regulate the management of special education services in order to be legally compliant with updated or amended special education law under Article 7. And administrative guidelines will be maintained in such a way that legal and statutory compliance is automatically adjusted by the ACS Special Education Department as law and/or regulations change. I recommend the board adopt resolution R-2014-68.
So moved. Okay, Mr. Long moves for approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Green. Any question or discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? That motion carries. Seeing no items for future agendas.
Mention something.
Yes.
Could we look at the policies that Leola may have brought forth in the past recent months or year to see if there are any things that need to be updated as far as our policies go?
Yes. In fact, if you'd like, I want to try and get a time frame from you on when, if you remember when those were last presented. I know we had the first reading that you reminded me of, so.
Right, we can get that information.
Right, very good. Okay, if there's no more discussion, I would take a motion to adjourn. I've heard a motion by Mr. Long and a second by Mr. Shaley. All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.